Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Shred Show Live. You know what? I had one of my favorite guests on last week, but there is nobody compared to my guest today. He is not only an incredible friend, he's been a mentor and truly one of the most influential and impactful leaders in all of mortgage history. And I am hanging out with him this morning. I cannot tell you how pumped and how jazzed all of you should be to hear from the one, the only Brian Covey this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about how to position yourself to win in 2023, plus so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to sit down, grab your cup of coffee, hang out with us, come jam with us. Are you ready? Are you ready? It is time to shred. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And look at him. He's getting a picture, making it happen. That's what I love to see. That's why I have so much respect for Brian and for everything that he has done. If you don't know who he is, you truly have probably lived under a rock within the industry. But I have what he did right there with his phone. That's why I have so much respect and admiration for him as a leader. He's doing it. He's not just talking about it. He's making it happen. He's leading by example. And that's why I'm so excited to have him on the show. Brian, so good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Dude, I'm fantastic. And I think we're going on the road with this show because the hype and what you bring as far as the energy, if you're not surrounded by people with this kind of energy, you're missing out on a part of your life that you could be living at a higher level, no matter what that looks like. You need people in your life, Josh, like you, that they're going to raise your energy. They're going to push you to new levels. When you do that, watch out.
And thank you for the compliment. And I want to dive right into this, but before we get in, there's so much I want to talk about today, but I want to kind of set the stage for those who may not know you. Again, I want to give just a little glimpse of your history. You've had a 20 plus year history in the industry. You're truly like just one of those people that have been so steady and so influential, and throughout your entire career, you have helped and served so many loan officers, mortgage professionals, and you truly have dedicated yourself to this. So for those who may not know, give a little brief history of how you got started in the industry.
Man, probably like many of us, it wasn't my goal to set out to be in the mortgage industry. Like I had really no idea what it was. But when my wife and I, Nicole, we were buying our first house, we had worked with a friend. Quite honestly, wasn't the best experience in the world. I was nervous. I was scared. We didn't know how much money to put down. I had all these questions, all this stuff. And I realized, I was like, well, I like working with finance. I like marketing. I like people. Maybe there's an opportunity for me. So I saw a problem of someone that really wasn't working that hard, really didn't have the best communication, went through an experience that I was like, man, I think I can do it better than that. And so why don't I go in there and make a change? I was young. My friends were all trying to buy houses. We didn't know much about it. I was like, at least I'll be able to help my friends, right? So it started out of like a crazy idea of, well, I want to improve the experience I had. Let me go out to the market. I did have some friends growing up playing soccer. Their parents were real estate agent, home builders, all of this stuff. I started asking questions like, what does it take to be a loan officer? Like, what's that look like? And I was working at Wells Fargo Financial. So in all fairness, I had some backing of, I was making a ton of cold calls, like 100 a day. I was pulling credit, working income, working up deals, furniture financing, car financing, credit card financing. Like I learned the basics from an early age and had a great coach and mentor, my boss at that time. So Josh, I started really, when you say started at the bottom, like you think about doing furniture financing, 0%, no payments, 4 years. That was me pulling your credit. And then we try to upsell you on something. So I learned all of that and have taken that with me.
Dude, that is incredible. Plus, some may not know this about you, but you were like quite the phenomenal soccer player. Like professional, if I remember right. Like you had a professional career in soccer, correct?
True story. Yeah. And I played D1. That was always my dream, man. And my parents sacrificed a ton to get me opportunities. And I got to train like U17, U23 national team and some cool stuff, traveling overseas for like 6 summers in a row. And just, whoa. I tell everybody, it's like unique experience and perspective that as a dad, as a leader today, all of that has really shaped who I am and why I'm wired. I think I'm just wired a little bit different than most, but it's who I am.
Okay, now I have to ask, just because World Cup ended, what were your thoughts on what is your thoughts on World Cup? For me, again, I'm not a huge soccer fan. I've got respect for it, but I mean, seeing these professional athletes on that level, it's something else.
Dude, it is. And I will say, let's start with the macro and the whole thing. If you look at how many people are watching the game, how many countries qualified. You look at Morocco, how they did well, how Croatia's doing well. Argentina was one of the favorites. Like we kind of saw that. Maybe Brazil could have moved on, but they got knocked out. How close the countries were, how many games went to penalty kicks after overtime, and how close the teams were. And I would say, like, let's take a lesson out of that for our own world of how close we are to success when those games go to overtime, PKs. What in your business? Because the coaches are looking back at the game going, what could we have done different? I've heard from some of them, by the way, going, man, what if I'd subbed here? What if I'd done that? In your business, the lesson I would take out of this, because I could jam soccer all day, is where in your life going into 2023, do you need to change the plays? You need to change the players around you? Where do you need to upskill? And for me, dude, the final, like watching with my kids, was absolutely amazing, right? Like Messi got to complete what I would say is a legacy play, like a Michael Jordan-esque moment in our life. We'll never forget that, man. He gave us the gift of doing something where people counted him out as a kid. If you follow his story, you'll see he wasn't always the one with his size and everything he had going against him. But he found a way to win, and he's found a way to really shut up all the haters and anyone that doubted him.
Dude, that was what I had so much. I mean, I've been a Messi fan. Again, not a huge soccer fan, but just I've always known who Messi was. I mean, I spent years in Panama. So, like, soccer is just like life down there. Football, as they call it, it's just life down there. So, like, Messi was always one of these, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, some of these, and Messi was always in that. To end his career, his World Cup career, the way that he did, again, I love that you compare it to Michael Jordan. It was a very Michael Jordan-esque, like, end to an amazing career. He'll still go back and play club football to kind of end out, but what an awesome, and I'm so glad that you compared this to us in our own businesses, like going back and reviewing, because 2022 has been a very, let's call it, interesting year for so many of us. 2023 is going to continue to be challenging. There's opposition still ahead. And I want to kind of dive into that. And as we do, I want to talk about something that you have been very vocal about, which I'm very excited because I recently made an announcement about a change that I made. And I literally called you as a friend, as a mentor, and said, Brian, you just went through a change yourself. And I picked your brain, and you are such a giving and respectful, and like, you understand the industry so incredibly well. You are one of those people of a handful of people that I have trust and confidence in to even like guide me through a decision like this. But you have made a decision, like you have made a change yourself. And I want to talk about why. Like I really kind of want to, because again, so many people, you've had such an incredible career at Loan Depot, but recently you've made a big change to Revolution Mortgage. So talk about why. I am personally I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah, dude, well, I've been blessed, right? Like I got to spend 13 years at Wells. For those that don't know, 4 great years over at Movement, some amazing people there, almost 5 years at LD. And I tell people, it's like, if you were to pick the top lenders in the country, in the space, those would be some of the ones you'd want to go study. You would want to go to spend time there.
100%.
Like the leadership, their models, just the way they do things with integrity. All of them have had great runs. And I am really kind of a byproduct of all those people that invested in me from there. So first and foremost, thank you to all the leaders, because I wouldn't have the opportunities to be doing what I'm doing. And out of those experiences really birthed a passion, and what I really created my purpose, which was I want to create other leaders that create other leaders. And for me, the change was around that, because I see this shift happening, and the traditional model, I think, is being challenged today of multiple layers. You've got a lot of overhead that you're seeing, all of the layoffs and everything there, because companies have to grow and hire if they want to get that big. And the chase to be number one, the chase to be the biggest, it also has consequences potentially when the market shifts. And so what I was looking for was a place that I could build a team on my own terms, my vision of leaders that created the leaders, where we would truly push, for example, the P&L to them and say, let's build your team. There's no right or wrong. Like, you pick your salary, you pick your basis points. We have all the products program. You set your margins. Like, the flexibility to run your business today, things what all of us want. We want control. We want freedom. We want to know behind the scenes that people have our back. The company's well capitalized, products, programs, marketing, CRMs, like all that stuff. But Josh, the real driver for me was I see where the industry is going. And I've always been one of those, I'll call them like an early adopter, where I'm just willing to take those risks, people might call it, and go and bet on myself. And when I see an opportunity that I can impact more lives, and one of the big drivers for me was traditional retail is typically you have markets. I had 10 states at LD, right? At Movement, I think I had 6, 7 states or something at the time. I get to work nationwide, bro. So the amount of relationships that have been created the last 5 years for me, or personal friends, people like us people that I love to mentor on the side. I love to coach. I love just to be their go-to to give them perspective that I don't want anything from them. Like, I just truly want to be your friend. I'll give you advice. You need to make your own decisions. But man, that for me, to be able to help people nationally, and I believe to help guide our industry through really the biggest opportunity we've seen in over 2 decades to shape the future of the industry. All the up and coming 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, to see what does leadership look like. It doesn't mean climbing the corporate ladder. I was told that, and it's a lie when I came up. It's you have to go up the ladder to win. That's what everyone thinks. Like, I had a conversation yesterday with someone. Well, I want to go from here to here to here. And I said, what if? Just consider for a moment. There was a possibility you could actually build a team. You could generate enough income over here. You could bless enough other people. You could do all that. And your title didn't matter because you're helping people and serving people in the local market. Well, guess what? Pops in Revolution Mortgage, right? And so I could jam on that for a while, but the people, the vision for where they're going, and what I believe the impact and how I fit in as a piece of that puzzle.
100%.
Dude, I am so convicted and fired up about what we're going to do and the people we're going to be able to help and bless.
Bro, I am so glad. I want everybody to go back and listen to the last 2 minutes that Brian just wrapped on, because literally when guys like you and I, Brian, when we make a change, so many people think it's coming out of a selfish place. It's like, oh, like they're doing this for them. And it's like, no, when I moved my license over to Nexa this last week and made that announcement, literally what you just said was the reason I did it. And I even quote, like I tagged you in the post because your reasoning was my reasoning. You and I, we've come, like, we could have gone outside and done other things in the industry. We could have gone outside of this industry. Let's just be honest. We could have done some incredible things, but we have dedicated our lives to the people of the mortgage community because, again, we know them. We've been there. We've been in the trenches with them. And we truly, like, I don't want this to come from like a self-aggrandizing place or sound arrogant, but like, we love serving them. We love helping them. And you have been one of those people and leaders in particular who has helped so many from the different lenders that you've been at, the different opportunities. You are truly living a life of service. And you just mentioned something that we could rap about for hours, in particular, the future of our industry, the future leaders of our industry. Who is there to help guide them on this journey? There is not another that I'm aware of. There's not another industry out there that you mentioned, Brian, that you can come in and build a legacy for yourself by helping other people. You don't have to climb a corporate ladder. You can come in and truly start impacting and changing lives on day one. You get your license, you start working with a bank or broker, whoever. You can literally start helping people change their lives by helping them finance the American dream. You like, dude, you saying that gives me like goosebumps because there's no other industry that you can just come in and start changing lives like that.
Not that I'm aware of. Look, we've all got friends in other industries, right? And we talk about it, and they always compare it back to my sports days. And I got my coaching license and all that. I was like, isn't it cool that I can use all those experiences and like what God's kind of put me in different spots, different seasons. And like now I really understand those gifts were given to me to give to other people and like how I use them and sharpen the tools and things. Man, there's not another industry that I know. And I love our people, man. I always say, it's like, I don't care if you're a broker. I don't care if you're retail, your bank, whatever you are. Look, dude, at the end of the day, like we have an opportunity. And I think there's a big opportunity to change the way that we're viewed, an opportunity to educate, and then truly how to build out team cultures that people can then go, man, that's a great company culture. I fit here. Or man, I want to go this way. And there's leadership around that. So people aren't just winning in business, but they're winning in all areas of their life. And I know you believe in that too. It's like, Josh, if you're not winning in the other areas, if you don't have your marriage and to me, your faith, and you're not a great parent, you're not doing the things around your health, mental health, physical health, and all that stuff, dude, I don't care how much money, how much production you do, it's for naught. So when you get that right, there needs to be more leaders like us that are banging that drum saying, look, when you put all that together, that whole person theory from Stephen Covey, you are going to see exponential, not just results in your business, you see big results in your life. That's what we should be striving for. And so that's what I stand on that platform of, you can do this and you can have a ridiculously successful life inside and outside of whatever you call your office or job, right?
Dude, what you just said too, again, guys, this is one of those episodes that like everything that Brian's saying right now is so relevant and so impactful. I mean, you even started, I don't want to go down this road too far, but you've mentioned the whole broker, banker, retail, hybrid, like that mentality of us versus them, better versus not. Like, and it's just, we have to stop thinking about it now. And again, you and I are like, I'm on the broker side of our industry. You're on the retail, like the hybrid side of our industry. And yet we're still friends. We're still collaborating. We're still here because there's a greater good. There's an opportunity to educate, to help one another, to serve. And you mentioned this just a second ago. There's an opportunity in this next year. We will see leaders. We will see opportunity like we haven't seen in years. And as those who step up to the plate, it's the leaders who stand at the head of these organizations and say, let's go after it. Yes, there's going to be some hard work involved, but let's band together, grab arms, forget about what side you're on, and let's just go serve. Let's just make it happen. And I'm so glad that you and I, with our friendship, in the positions that we are, we can talk about this more. I think we need more leaders. I think we need more people discussing it, because this is, as we transition this, that's how we truly position ourselves to win in this new year. And let's talk about that a little bit. You are a coach. You are somebody who is continually guiding. You have people reaching out to you continually. You have your own platform that does help people grow in all aspects of their life. I love that we're taking not just mortgage, but there's so much more to your life, faith, family, your health and fitness. You know, those three things in particular are very big to you and I, but those things, you're continually guiding them in all aspects of their life. So how should our mortgage family, our mortgage community start positioning themselves to win in 2023?
Man, love the question. So here's what I keep coming back to my own journey. Cause like I share from personal experience. I'm like, look, I'm on the same journey you're on. I may be at a different spot in the road or somewhere, but when I went back the last couple of years, Josh, I needed to define success. I did not have a really clear definition of what success was. So if you've ever been in that spot where like you're doing production, you're doing several million a month, or maybe you're $100 million producer, and that's how you define success, you're going to find that's empty. Because when you get there, you get there and you're probably not as jazzed as you were. It's like they talk about, like, you go buy that nice thing, whatever it is, the car, the watch, whatever it is, the house, or you go take a trip, something, after a while, it doesn't matter anymore. And so when you define success on terms that are more legacy, like what is this going to mean over the long run? And I started to define success more around, I want to be doing what I want to do with the people I want to do it with, when I want to do it. And that for me started to anchor some decisions of, when I think about, I want to be doing what I want to do. I love to coach, mentor. I love business development. I still love sales. Like I came up in a very sales-driven culture that now as you start to build relationships, that relationship capital, you start to think about it. So Josh, I would start with everybody that's listening, you need to define success, right? And for me, there are some standards that one of my coaches and mentors, Ben Newman, has really ingrained is there are standards. It's who you are, not so much even what you do, but what I believe will transition to what my actions are that then become my habits. Many people start focusing on habits, right? Like I love Atomic Habits, amazing book. You can learn a lot. But for many of us, we need to go back. What do we believe? Well, if I believed I need to climb a corporate ladder to be successful, and that was how I defined success, I've already lost the game. Think about that. You got to change your beliefs to then move through. So define success, look at your beliefs. That will start to guide your actions, and that will become your habits.
Oh man, that's big. I don't think I've thought about that. I don't think I've defined success for myself in a long time. You even mentioned it, and I even started to think about, we recently took a trip to Costa Rica and spending time with family. You're a big family man. You're a big faith man like myself. And spending time, that quality time with family, you really start to realize, you're like, man, what is important to me? What is success to me? If I had all the money, if money was no option, what would that be? And sometimes we get so focused on, chasing the ever holy dollar or trying to get to that next place. It's like, but what will that provide me? What will that actually get me? What really does that mean? And I even go back to something you said earlier in the show, was talking about surrounding yourself with the right people. I think that in the year to come, this last year, if I'm talking about things that really are positioning myself, is surrounding myself with the right people, like surrounding myself with that mentality, success. Other people who have that success mentality, who are thinking, who are driven, who are focused. They want to achieve greatness within their life. And again, greatness can be different for all of us. It doesn't have to be a bag of money. It can be, again, just a healthy, happy life. So I think that success, defining success, everybody who's listening, you should take that. Everybody, we're going to the goal setting mode. Brian, you and I know that. Like everybody's, it's New Year's resolutions coming up, but just define that. And really think about that for a second, because it could be simple. Maybe it's simpler than you think. Maybe success to you is truly just a small shift.
Oh man, it could be. So I'm gonna give you something I learned this year. and this will be valuable for everybody out there. So we went through with one of our masterminds that I spend time with, and you mentioned who you surround yourself with. So I want you to think about 3 circles, right? The biggest circle as you go around is going to be your community. Those are people you may reach out to and talk to, maybe even once a quarter, once every few months. They're not as often, but they're people that you want in your community. It might be that mastermind group that you go meet up with twice a year. Think about that group. Move into the next group, which is your circle. It's going to be a smaller group there that you're probably 10 to 20 people. Honestly, you talk to more frequently, you're texting more frequently. It could be your referral partners that you work with. Those are people that have more of an influence in your life. You're usually commenting on social. I want you to think about who's in your corner. Who is that person you would call when you know what hits the fan? Who is the person you call, like I had to do going through this big decision, probably like you did, Josh? Like, who are those few people when you're making life kind of altering or life moment decisions? I started to really look at those 3 buckets, went through this mastermind. I started to write out their names. What was really cool about it, as a result of that, I started to spend more time with those people that are in my corner, because I didn't realize, wow, that's who I need to be with. That's who I'm there for. And I started thinking about people in my circle. Maybe some of those people in my circle could be in my corner, or maybe they're going to move out to my community. Start to think about that as the people in your life today. When you start to define, then you can put systems and processes around how often do I follow up? Are they part of a CRM drip campaign? Am I texting them regularly? Am I meeting with them? Am I going to put a mastermind together? Like, all this creativity can flow out of it. But think about those 3 circles. Who's in there today? Who needs to be in there for tomorrow is the bigger question.
Dude, that's deep. Like, this is one of those things. And I want to even give people permission. Maybe the people that are in your corner, maybe it's time to take them out. Maybe they're not the ones. Maybe they're not. Maybe you thought that they've had to be, or maybe they've had a. Here's the thing: is people change. We go through life-altering moments, and that's okay. It's okay to say, "Hey, this person has been an incredible mentor, friend. They've been in my corner, but some things have shifted. Now it's time to push them out to that circle. Hey, they're still there. You don't have to push them out of your life completely, but maybe it's time to really analyze who's in your corner." Because I'm with you, and that goes very, very much to my how I've learned this year is maybe those people that I thought were in my corner, as much as they're there for me. They're still family. They're still friends. They're still there. But they're not the ones that I ultimately who are going to help me achieve that new level, whatever I define that success as. How are they going to help me achieve that in this next year? Dude, this is like deep stuff, right? Like, this is good stuff. Everybody needs to be hearing this too right now.
Well, I think this starts what I'm doing, Josh. I'll tell you exactly how I'm approaching that. Is I'm looking at those people in my circle in my corner, and I'm already looking at dates in January for events or meetups or masterminds and time to spend with them. That is the actionable step. From once you do that exercise, just think about the next level is, okay, do you already have your calendar? So I can tell you for my first quarter, I've already got those events planned. I already know who I'm spending time with, and it's going to be very intentional as I go through that.
I think what the word you just talked about right now, I think you have to be intentional in this upcoming year. As we talk about really positioning yourself to win in 2023, I think you have to be intentional with your time. And again, not only time, but with the time you're spending with certain people. You mentioned clients, relationships, referral partners. You have to start thinking about and being intentional with that time, because it's so easy in the market that we're in, especially in the industry right now. It's so easy to get into a habit of like, I'm going to do this or that. And you start to lose that intention. And next thing you know, another year has gone by. And what did you actually achieve?
Yeah. January will fly by for most people. They won't have a plan. They won't have actionable items. They won't have measurables that they can get there. And they're going to wonder, and they'll look up in February and say, wow, it was a really hard market. Wow, January is really tough. No, you should start today. It's almost like you think about the people that are talking today about, I want to start my fitness journey January 1. Why wait? I mean, this is a legit question. If you're listening, why are you waiting? If you can go walk for 20 minutes, awesome. Check the box. If you can eat one healthier meal a day, check the box. If you can read, if you're a faith believer, if you can read your Bible for 5 minutes a day, start stacking some wins. Because every time you do this, what I've learned is my confidence grows. I do what I told myself I would do. And then I become this person that I really want to be and show up for people in my life. So don't wait. Don't be that person that looks up and is like, man, January was just really hard. No, it doesn't have to be. You can create wins. You just got to start now.
Dude, you have to start. I'm going to give a little humble brag here. I hate doing this, but so I was talking about reading scriptures, studying faith, because I'm a big guy in that too. I started doing it at the gym. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you got to pump up music, but I started doing like listening to it on audio. And like when you're listening to scriptures, when you're listening to that faith stuff, and like it actually jazzes you up, man. I'm like, dang, I'm hearing some of this stuff, and I'm like, shoot, it's hitting in ways. I've read the script, I've gone through it before, but like doing it when you're at the gym and you're a different like physical and mental state, it's a whole new ballgame. I'm just going to say that real quick because it's all you. Stop making excuses like Brian's saying. You can find time. You can always find the time if you want to do it. I want to start transitioning. I want to be respectful of your time. We're coming up on 25 minutes here. We've really shared so many ways for people to position themselves to win, lessons that you have learned, everything you've experienced in this last year. Is there one lesson that has stood out to you that has been like, hey, this is something that has, whether it was difficult, whether it was good, was there something that you learned in this last year that you're excited to continue to execute on in this upcoming year? I know you shared a few things, but was there one that really stood out to you?
My word for the year ended up coming through what we all experienced, right? Like if you look back at 2022, none of us really knew what was ahead of us, right? We had a vision, probably like I had goals written down coming the year. I had these 3, what we call project designs that I work with my coach. And, sure enough, in Q2, you're like, whoa, okay. Q3, wow, like it's all changing. I went back to this one word, resiliency. And I thought back, Josh, to my career as an athlete, right? I wasn't the tallest goalkeeper and I was told I couldn't do this. I was told I couldn't do that. And I have these experiences, probably like all of you listening, where you're like, you didn't quit. You proved people wrong. You worked with the gifts you were given. I believe this, like God's uniquely gifted you and given you experiences and things in your life. When I started to take ownership of that in 2022 and said, and it sounds corny, we all hear it, but I started to really focus on what I could control. My attitude and my effort. One of my coaches used to always say that. I was like, well, how's my attitude? Well, sometimes it's not good. If I'm honest, sometimes my attitude, most positive guy out there, you probably see me, I'm very positive. When my attitude started to shift, I started to recognize patterns in my life and become very aware of when did I trend off? When did I not do the work that I need to do? When did I not do the extra? When you become honest with yourself and you stack that with your past of the wins that you've done, you're ready to grow. And so what I would share with everybody is what I'm going to take out of 2022 is didn't leave the industry, didn't quit, had an amazing year on all accords. And you take those wins, you take what worked, and then be very self-aware of truly where do you need to improve? You can hire a coach, you can do all that stuff. I believe in it. You know above all people, just like I know about me, where I'm falling short, where I need to improve, where I've put the work in that actually have done the extra. Oh. Be honest with yourself as you go into next year and do not freaking settle. I am over what people put limiting beliefs on me. I broke free of that this year, I'll tell you, Josh, and I would encourage all of you to do the same. Bet on you, go big, believe you were called to do something great in this world, and show up that way. Bro. People are depending on you, bro. That's it.
Mic drop. We're ending on that. Like that legit. Like I got goosebumps, man. Like believe in yourself. If you don't follow Brian on all social channels, follow him on Instagram, follow him on LinkedIn, follow him on every channel, because I even watch him. I've said many a times, every once in a while, I just need that motivation in my life. And Brian is truly one of those guys. I look up his Instagram. I'm like, what Brian put out today is going to make me smile. That is one of the most valuable things. Me and Brian both say this time and time again. We were all given a God-gifted talent and ability in one way or another, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. You can change people's lives. You have the ability to change and impact people's lives in a way that no one else can. Even Brian and I, there are lives that you will touch that we cannot. So go out there, believe in yourself, and make it happen. Brian, this has been truly inspirational. What an incredible way to end the year. I cannot thank you enough for everything that you have shared. I'm truly humbled and grateful for your friendship, for your mentorship, and for the incredible, inspiring leader that you are.
Bro, the feeling's mutual, man. Thank you for all you've done, because I know the hours and the time and what you've spent to bless other people and taking your gifts. And I've seen your growth. And what's cool is we're on this journey together. I share this a lot. But, Josh, like what you're doing, you're inspiring me. You're inspiring other people. People listening, that can be you. It should be you, because what you've been through, you're uniquely equipped to serve those people. And so show up that way. And I'll say Merry Christmas, everybody, whenever you get this. I hope you and your family have an amazing one.
That's it, guys. Brian, thank you so very much. Merry Christmas to all of you and yours. Cannot thank you again. Go back and watch this, guys. There were so many nuggets in it, and we cannot thank Brian enough. Go follow him on all his social channels, because I promise he will continue to inspire and lead you in the year to come. With that, as always, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time, like Brian said, to go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.